Want to find out what the 5 most common types of dance classes are? Well, watch this video. Hello, Leon here from passionfordancing.com, and today I'm gonna talk about the 5 most common types of dance classes out there. So if you're learning Latin and ballroom dancing, you're probably doing one of these right now. They are group classes, private lessons, semi-private lessons, workshops, and online dance lessons. So these are all the options that you have in terms of learning how to dance, whether you're doing ballroom dancing or even if you're doing a different style, it'll be pretty much the same thing. So what I'm going to talk about is the pros and cons of each of these types of dance classes. So let's get to it. So the first type of dance class we're going to talk about are group classes, okay? And that's when you enroll in a drop-in class, or you enroll in a 6 to 8 week course that meets up every week at the same time, and you could potentially have 10 to 30 other people learning with you in that group class. The pros of this type of dance class is that it's very inexpensive. I would say on average right now it's about $12 to $20 per group class depending on your area, and another pro is that it's very social friendly, so you can meet a lot of people that way. It's fun. Now let's talk about the cons of group classes, and they are, the first one is that it's based on the schedule of the studio, so you have to adhere to their schedule. So if your salsa class is at 7:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, that's the time you have to be there. You know, you don't have any flexibility to dictate your own time. Let's move on to the next con, which is there could be a lot of people in the same class as you, so you're not going to get as much personal attention. So there could be a situation where you have too many people, so you're not going to get that custom individual attention that you might need. And the third con, and I kind of talked about it already, but it's that most of the classes is taught in a general information type of instruction. So it's not going to go into great detail about how to do something. It's going to give you the basics and the general information that you need to know so that you can try to do it on your own. Let's go to the next type of dance class, and that is private lessons. Private lessons is typically where you have up to 2 people with an instructor in the ballroom world. You can take the lesson on your own or with a partner and do the private lesson that way. So the pros are, the first one is you'll get more individual attention and customized instruction to what you specifically need as a dancer, because there's only 1 or 2 of you in the lesson. The teacher can focus on exactly what you need. They can see the issues that you might be having and focus the lessons to make sure you're getting it. So that's the biggest pro of private lessons. The second advantage to taking private lessons is that you can schedule them at your own time and at a time that's convenient for both you and the teacher. So like I said, in the group classes you have to adhere to the time that they give you, versus with group classes you have much more times that you can choose from and come in when it's good for you. Now let's talk about the cons. Well, the one con with private lessons is that they tend to be a little bit more on the expensive side, okay? So lessons can range between $60 to $150 for one private lesson, depending where you are in the world. That's kind of like an average rate, although world champions and famous dancers can charge $300, $500 for just one private lesson. I've taken those myself in the past, so I know that. So anyway, that's one con, is it's definitely more expensive than, let's say, group classes. Let's move on to the next type of dance class, and that is semi-private lessons. What are those? Those are kind of like a hybrid of group classes and private lessons, where you have a small group of friends and you just want to take a class together and kind of book it at a time that's convenient for all of you guys together and learn something together. You're most likely in a similar level and you have similar goals. So it's kind of like a group class as a private lesson type of thing, right? So let's talk about the pros. So the first pro is that because there are typically about 3 to 8 students in a semi-private lesson, you definitely get more attention than in a group class that might have 30 people, right? So you get a little bit more individualized instruction. It's still not like a regular private lesson, but you're definitely going to get more attention and the lessons are going to be more customized to what the 3 to 8 of you want. The second pro is it's very inexpensive to take these semi-private lessons. It can range between $15 to $25 a person. Usually you split the private lesson rate amongst you. That's normally how it's done, although some studios might do it differently. But anyway, you're typically sharing the private lesson cost amongst the 3 to 8 of you. And the third pro is that the lessons are scheduled normally at a convenient time for both you and the teacher. Now let's talk about some cons. Well, the first one is that you're still sharing the class with 3 to 8 other people, so you're not going to get as much individual attention as you would in a regular private lesson. And another con is that, like I mentioned, that most of the time when you're doing semi-private lessons, you're usually splitting the private lesson rate with your friends. So typically what happens is that if some friends don't show up, you still have to make sure your instructor gets paid that full amount. So let's say the private lesson costs $150, and you're thinking that 8 of you are going to be showing up to the semi-private lesson, but then only 4 show up. Now you have to divide the 150 by 4 instead of 8, right? So that's the thing with semi-private lessons. You got to make sure that your friends are really committed to coming in and actually bring the money so that you can split it together. Yeah, so that's probably the only con here. The next type of dance class we're going to talk about are workshops. Workshops are kind of like one-time events. These are kind of similar to group classes, but these are usually focused on a specific topic. They're focused to inspire you with a new technique or a new concept. They're usually can attract a lot of people, sometimes between 40 to 100 people per class. Let's talk about the pros now. The first pro of workshops is that they're still relatively inexpensive. They can range between $20 to $50 for one workshop. So it's not terribly expensive. The second pro is that workshops are great to learn new techniques and concepts that will inspire you to get better and motivate you to get to that next level. That's what workshops are really good for. And they're really good at diving into a specific subject in detail that sometimes you don't have time to dive in a normal group class. That's what workshops are good for, is they kind of do a deep dive into one specific area. Now let's talk about the cons. The first con is that there could be a lot of people. Like I mentioned, there could be between 40 and 100 people in a workshop, especially if it's done by a very famous Dancing with the Stars pro like Karina Smirnoff. You might have very crowded classes, and you're not going to get as much attention and customized in-depth instruction towards what you might need, okay? The second con is that you sometimes don't know what to expect in a workshop, okay? You don't know if they're going to cover a specific topic that's way above your level or something like that. So that's one thing about workshops. Sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get, okay, as opposed to a regular group class. All right, and on to the last and fifth type of dance class, and that's online dance lessons. There are many websites right now that you can learn how to dance online with, including our website, passionfordancing.com, where we teach people how to dance online with videos. So let's talk about the pros and cons here. The first pro is that it's one of the best ways to review your steps that you've been learning in your physical classes. Sometimes you go to dance classes, you learn some moves, you get home, and then you forgot what you learned, right? So if you're subscribed to one of these online dance websites, you can actually go in and review the steps at home or on your device anywhere. Yeah? So that's the first pro. The second pro is it's quite inexpensive. So for example, our Passion for Dancing membership at this point of time is $147 a year. And you get everything, unlimited access to all our videos, and some private lessons can cost that, just one private lesson. So if you think about it, it's not expensive at all. Thirdly, you can watch the videos on any device with internet connection. So you can watch it on your computer, you can watch it on the phone, and all you gotta do is log in. And so it's very convenient to learn this way. You can learn from anywhere at any time. Now let's talk about the cons of online dance lessons. I'd say the biggest con is that they don't give you feedback on what you need specifically. So with online dance lessons, you watch the video, you watch the online lesson, and then you have to apply it yourself, and you have to make sure that when you watch that lesson that you really understand and internalize what they want you to do, and make sure that you can do it, and so you're not having any direct feedback on whether you're actually doing it wrong or right. Okay, so it lacks that component. Another con is that slow internet connection might create lag in the videos. So, I mean, that's going away right now, I'd say, because internet speeds are improving. But again, some people around the world where they don't get high-speed internet might have a harder time accessing online dance lessons, at least for now. So that's it. These are the 5 types of dance classes that are very common out there. Which type of dance class are you currently taking? I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Also, if there's another type of dance class that I didn't include in here and you want to include it, please feel free to leave a comment below. Also, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and see you guys next time.